The enemy needs your cooperation before he can bring a lot of things to pass in your life. And when I say cooperation, I mean he needs you to open the door to your life for him to come in. He needs a legal ground to stand on. And usually you give him that legal ground. And that is why the scriptures tell us to not give the enemy a foothold, right? Let me tell you a story that I heard. There was a lady that got married, and for about 5 years, she was having trouble having a baby. And they really started to pray about this thing because they had taken it to doctors and things like that, and nothing was working. So they started to really pray. And when the cause of what was happening was revealed, it turned out that when she was about 17 years old, like over a decade ago, she had her little, nephews and nieces, like children, come to her house, and she was supposed to take care of them. And kids can be really stressful. They can be annoying. They're cute, but it's a lot of work sometimes. And she was annoyed at these children, and she said something that she doesn't even want to have anything to do with children. Like, they're so annoying that she doesn't even want to have these things. Like, she doesn't want to have them in her life. And that's like a teenager speaking, right? But then guess what? Whatever she said, those words opened the door for the enemy to latch onto, something in her life. It became a stronghold, a legal ground for the enemy to deny her the fruit of the womb. Why? Because she said it herself. She doesn't want to have kids. She opened the door. Sometimes the thoughts that we have, the meditations of our hearts, and especially the words we speak. Sometimes you're angry at someone and you just say something to them, especially with your spouse. Your husband or your wife annoys you, because they are human beings. And then you just end up saying something. You don't mean it. But you see, the enemy doesn't play fair. He doesn't care whether you mean it or not. You said it. And that is why we will give an account for every idle word we speak. So whenever things are happening in your life, whenever you start to really, that thing that happened a long time ago, suddenly you get flashes of it and it's making you so agitated, it's getting you to be bitter. Sometimes there's a kairos season around, there's a breakthrough coming, and the enemy needs you to spoil it yourself with the words you speak, with ingratitude. When you should sacrifice thank offerings to God, when you go to God in prayer, all you do is complain. All you do is, just be upset at the things you don't have, rather than be grateful for the things you have. And then you're just bitter about something. Watch it. Bible tells us in Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 15, it says, catch for us the foxes, the little foxes that destroy our vineyard that is in bloom. Whenever the vineyard is in bloom, the enemy comes around and tries to steal your harvest. The little foxes, anger, bitterness, the things you say, they give the enemy access to your life. Don't cooperate with the enemy. Fight it in prayer, fight it with the word, and be conscious about everything that you're doing, because the devil does not play fair. God bless you.